All right, everybody, welcome in and welcome back. Season 5, episode 5, aka our 147th show. Andy, I think we're both happy, right?
I think we are. We're happy and happy and sad because I think this tournament has been good for both of our teams so far, or for majority of our teams so far. But now we're getting to the point where it's going to be really sad. Mm-hmm. It's going to be we know it's coming. So I don't know. We're in that stage.
We are.
So
which,
honestly, still is a blessing because many countries don't get to that. I bet people from the Netherlands wish that we were in this 100%. Stage. I bet people in Morocco wish they were in this stage.
Yep. Norway.
I don't care too much for Norway.
That's fine, but I bet they probably wish that they were.
I bet they do, absolutely. Yeah. I bet Senegal was wishing that as well. So more love to the African countries. So yeah. So hey, counting our blessings, but it's nearing the end.
It is near the end.
There is some good news happening on the other side of the soccer universe. Transfers are heating up a little bit as more and more countries are now being made available to have their players talk to the clubs talk to other clubs. So what's going on in Barcelona, Paul?
Sure. So let's start with the positive first. So Barcelona, we are in talks with Joao Cancelo. Nothing is official, but it sounds like it is going to happen somewhat soon, as it just seems like contract and numbers are being worked out between the Saudi club and Barcelona. But it sounds like Joao Cancelo is going to join Barcelona at some point in the near future. But the big signing, Andy, was Karim Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund. I don't know if you know this lad, but he's a speedy boy, has a really cracking shot from outside the box. And he's a greyhound. He just runs and runs and runs.
Is he forward, midfielder,
mostly winger? Mostly winger, can play off both wings. It sounds like he's going to be backup possibly for Lamine. Can play right or left side, but if Barcelona decided to go with Anthony Gordon through the middle, he could play on the left side if Rafinha's hurt. If Lamine Yamal needs rest, he can play on the right side. He's pretty versatile. Kind of like Anthony Gordon, honestly.
Yeah.
The nice thing that I like about this is, again, he's fast. He presses hard. He was a problem for Barcelona when Barcelona has played Borussia Dortmund, I think, in the last 2 Champions Leagues campaigns, and he was a problem in both instances just because he puts left backs, right backs on edge just because he's so fast and he can get behind a defense in a flash. So definitely great for Barcelona. And again, just that pressing pace, just the desire to press, the ability to press and kind of create some free goals for Barcelona is going to be huge. So that's definitely what Hansi Flick wants. Hansi Flick actually helped him make his debut for the German national team back in 2014 when Hansi Flick was an assistant coach back then. Nice. So Hansi Flick has some history with him, which is nice. So
yeah, that's good. Always good when there's a little bit of those connections for sure. Because hopefully means they understand the club or what the coach is asking for a little bit easier.
Definitely. So, and Andy, looking at numbers. So if we talk the numbers game, with his contract, Adeyemi is going to cost about 5 million euros per year, and Anthony Gordon is going to cost about 7 million euros per year. The cost for
are these personal terms or are these what they would?
No, these are their actual contracts.
Oh, okay, so this would be what their salary is over the course of a year. Okay.
Yes, correct. So this does not include add-ons. This is just base salary. Doesn't include fees like the transfer fees to get into the club. This is just base salary.
Okay.
So Adeyemi is about 5 million euros per year, and then Anthony Gordon is about 7 million euros per year. Now, if Barcelona would have paid for Rashford at the asking price of Manchester United, he would have been about 13 million euros per year. So we get 2 players for a little bit less than what would have cost for Rashford. And I think we get 2 players that they're younger, faster, more willing to press. If last season's any indication, so it's all positives. And I do feel bad for Rashford. I know Rashford wanted to be here. I was really happy with what Rashford did in the last season, but it's a business. numbers play a part, especially with how strict La Liga's financial rules are. You have to make business decisions. And I think this was 2 really good business decisions for Barcelona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think from the business perspective, like getting 2 for the price of 1, I think is a steal for that.
Yep.
So good business for them. I think it puts a little bit more questions on United's end, because I think this could really hinder Carrick because of everything that like United has been building to say like, hey, people who don't want to be here, like, see ya. Like, it's cutting the cord. Mm-hmm. But now this is kind of like the relationship coming back, and it's like they're feeling like they're kind of both having to do this now, which
sure,
like, if Rashford wants to be back, awesome. But in my opinion, like, I think it's actually better for the whole squad if he's not there. So I think United's going to have to find other suit. I would hope that they find other suitors, and I think there would. I would like to think that there would be, but we don't know. Maybe it's PSG. Maybe it's Bayern Munich. Someone.
I heard Roma might be interested.
Be awesome if you went to Roma. We'd probably have to pay a little bit of the salary because I know Roma can't spend a whole ton. But yeah, I think just elsewhere. I think elsewhere is still his thing. So good business. Tough on, makes it a little bit tougher for my end. So thanks, Paul. Thanks for talking to Hansi.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that is the positive as far as the incomings, the maybe negatives, the outgoings. So sounds like Ferran Torres has agreed to personal terms with PSG. So nothing official, but it sounds like he has agreed to personal terms. Sounds like Barcelona is maybe valuing him a little bit higher than what PSG is willing to pay. But it sounds like both sides might be interested, so a deal might happen. Rooney Bardghji, who Barcelona brought in last year to kind of play that right wing, doesn't sound like we were as happy with his progression as we would have hoped. I mean, he's only, I think, 20 at this point, but with the signing of Adeyemi, it sounds like that would stunt his growth. So Barcelona looks like they're open to options for a loan or a transfer for him. Just to help him not sit, as a third stringer behind Lamine and Adeyemi. So there's that. And it sounds like Barcelona is not interested in letting Rafinha go, but there are some Saudi clubs interested in Rafinha, offering some pretty hefty price tags. So who knows what'll happen with that. I wouldn't want to see him go, but I understand it's a business and he's had a lot of injuries. So that's something that Deco and Joan Laporta and Hansi Flick are going to have to come to a decision on, but it doesn't sound like Barcelona is interested in letting him go.
Yeah. I think I'd be curious to see how that develops, because it looks like even on this end in terms of transfers, they're getting people in case. So it sounds like if they get the price that they're wanting for Rafinha, they will have backup, so that they'd probably feel more willing to go and splash for that. So there's a chance there.
Exactly. And again, with Adeyemi being able to play on both sides, he can back Lamine Yamal up, he can back Gordon up, he can back Rafinha up, he can start in those positions. Like there's a lot of options. You could bring him in as a sub to torch lines in like the 60th, 65th minute.
Yeah.
And then you're going to cause a lot of problems with some tired backs bringing him on late in the game. So a lot of options.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Which is what you need.
It is. Today's day and age, a lot of injuries happen. We saw that with Rafinha this past year. So it's one of those things where you gotta have bodies. You gotta have capable bodies. I feel like last year we had some, I wouldn't say incapable bodies, but less than capable bodies. At different positions, just trying to fill in for people. So it's nice to have bodies to play the positions that we need.
Yeah, it was a little bit, I remember you saying a little bit square pegs and round holes, because I think it was like shunting like Rashford over to the right, where he's just less effective because he doesn't get to cut in on his right and take a shot. Just can't do that. So yeah, they're building, they're squad building.
Yes. Yep.
So
hopefully center back next. That's what we need. Center back next.
Yeah, hope for that. Well, United's still going for midfielders. Kind of some other crappy news, like I kind of mentioned a little bit with the Rashford thing of Ederson. So we had, I think, signed for Ederson with Atalanta. It was pending medical. However, medical came back not all that Ederson's cracked up to be, or had been, had been said he would have.
That's not
So
great.
yeah, so immediately United called off the deal. So that's what happens. Everything's pending medical because this stuff happens. Just really, really unfortunate because he did seem like he might have a little bit of those legs to cover a lot of ground was the hope. But I'm actually I'm impressed with this, which I don't really say I think a whole ton with United's transfer. You haven't really said this for the past 5 years with United's transfer business, but we found that Yuri Tillemans had a 35 million release clause, which means we did not have to negotiate. We don't have to negotiate with Aston Villa to get a midfielder. We just say, hey, we're willing to pay. This is my understanding of a release clause. You go talk to the person saying, hey, we're willing to pay you 35 million. It's your release clause. You kind of they have to honor it because they had approached with that minimum. So really smart business by them to get Yuri Tillemans.
I don't think they have to accept it, but I think most of the time, if a club is willing to pay the release clause, a club is willing to release them because it's usually like a club saying, if somebody pays us this amount, we'd be willing to get rid of this player. I mean, that's why you would see, release clauses at 500 million euros for like the top players.
Yeah,
where it's almost a ridiculous amount of money for someone to buy.
Yeah,
him.
Well, that's what's like interesting because from at least what I'm understanding, Yuri Tillemans, I don't think has gone into his new contract. So now it is kind of one of those things where they kind of have to because they're not. Yuri Tillemans and his camp are not talking to Aston Villa at that point, and so they inserted themselves. United were able to insert themselves in. They paid the release clause, so now it's kind of like, almost obligatory because Yuri Tillemans is not talking to his club to negotiate a new contract. There is the contract with United, so it's kind of like they have to whole circumvent a thing. So, in any case, Yuri Tillemans is, I believe, going to United. I think it's a decent buy because he's Premier League experience. He's not exactly, the profile, but I think what he is he's bench, he's depth, he is solid, consistent, and showing that he can perform consistently in the Premier League. And I think that's kind of where our strategy is. So, like, great buy for a midfielder of his caliber at 35 million. That's all we had to pay. That's pretty good, I think. Yeah. So I know he's older, but like that's still worth the price at 35 million because we did not pay that. I think no, because we got Casemiro. He just came over, but I think we paid a lot more than we did for. We paid a lot more, I think, for Casemiro than we did for Yuri Tillemans. And Tillemans is younger for sure.
Yeah, and I think he was one of, if not the best Belgian player in this tournament. So I think he definitely played his way into that conversation of teams looking at him, which I think is a cool thing about the World Cup.
Yeah,
is it's a way to showcase talent outside of the grind of the regular season, where
it is
club teams can kind of look at you. But yeah, I think it's a great signing for Manchester United for sure.
Yeah, so really hopeful with that. And I think they did just make the Andre Santos deal official. He is a little bit more of that ball winner, I think, that we were looking for to kind of replace Casemiro a little bit. Still kind of young, so hadn't made a whole ton of appearances, I think, for Chelsea, but we're kind of at the stage where I think we're just trying to get quality in our bench and kind of coming from there, because I think Kabi is definitely the future for United. It's just getting the right people around him, since we don't have Elliot Anderson to fill us in. So that's kind of where we're at, I think, in the club teams. Paul, are you good to move to World Cup knockout rounds?
Absolutely. We only have 4 games to get through, so hopefully we will not talk for an hour and a half this time.
Yeah.
We're sorry, listeners, for last week's episode, but
so
when
much
you got to get through 24 games, it's a lot of info.
Yeah. So, Paul, I'd say go ahead and start out with the France-Morocco. I was actually not able to see this match, but it kind of ended the way I thought it might. I thought Morocco could give France a little bit more problems, but it didn't seem to be the case there. So yeah, because when I saw the score line, it was it was kind of wild at a 2-0. I was very, very surprised for France. I know you said here it's kind of they're scary good from what you saw, Paul, with France. Is that how you'd pronounce it, or how you would say it was?
I would. My audio just cut out, and my recording is now saying it is 16 seconds long. So, don't know how that's going to go. My Google Chrome just closed on me, so we will deal with that in post.
Cool. Well, we were talking about just France Morocco. I was just chatting about France Morocco, of like how I was surprised. I was surprised Morocco did not get on the score sheet. I thought this would be. I don't know what kind of. Actually, to be honest, I don't know what kind of 2-0 was. Was it a dominant 2-0? Was it a?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in the way of, Morocco played well in the first half and they kept it close. It was 0-0 at halftime, but it was just Morocco was playing really deep, inviting pressure. It was basically trying to hold on for dear life is what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was just like, it felt like it was going to happen. It felt like it was building throughout the entirety of the game. Morocco didn't really create many, if any, chances, and so it just seemed and felt inevitable.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how it played out. So it just, France, man, is just so good.
They're feeling feeling a bit inevitable. They're feeling a little bit inevitable at this point.
Yeah, which is scary. But I think the best team to beat them is going to play them next. Because if we look at historically over the last couple of years, Spain has been the kryptonite to France, especially in these kind of knockout stage games. Lamine Yamal, if you play into the story, Lamine Yamal over Kylian Mbappe is 7 of his last 8 or 8 of his last 8. I don't remember which one it is, in elimination games, like single stage elimination games against Mbappe. So, tournaments in the bracket kind of style. But, I think if there's a team who can control the pace of the game and make France play in a way that they don't want to, I think it's Spain, personally.
Yeah, I can see that. I guess what I am hesitant on is that Lamine Yamal has not looked prolific.
Agreed.
And so I think that's going to make it tough, I think, for Spain. But I do agree with you in terms of style. Spain might be able to. Honestly, I think they might be able to outlast France, but I actually haven't seen a single match of France all the way through to know how really scary that they are. I've just known and seen it.
It's scary. It really is. The thing is, Spain is best when they have attacks off both wings. And the problem is they don't have a true left winger right now.
Mm-hmm.
If Nico Williams is healthy enough, he has to play. And I don't know if you can start him if he's healthy enough to start him, but you might just hope as Spain that you can hold on for a half, keep the game on level terms, and bring Nico Williams on at halftime, because you have to be able to attack him down both wings.
Yeah.
That's been the issue, is teams are just overloading defending Lamine, and they don't have a lot elsewhere, because you can shade everything to Spain's right side between Lamine Yamal and then Oyarzabal, and you don't have to worry about a threat on the left side as much.
Right.
Because Fabian Ruiz or Baena, whoever's playing over there, isn't really going to keep the width and make the defense stretch.
Yeah.
So that's been the biggest thing. So
yeah, but
it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think so. But I guess, did the Spain-Belgium game give you any hope? From what I heard, I feel bad because I think it was Spain went up through a Senelaman's mistake, which hurts, because I don't think had made a mistake really all in his United career so far, and this is his one big mistake, and it comes in a quarterfinal.
Yeah, it's tough because Courtois looks like he picked up a thigh injury and had to leave the game. Lamin's coming in kind of cold, and in this game's tied 1-1. Kubarsi, one of the center backs who also plays for Barca, takes a shot from probably 30 yards out because the goalkeeper hasn't been tested. Ball probably moved a little bit in the air. We know with this ball is moving differently than a lot of the balls that goalkeepers are used to in their domestic leagues. And, maybe the ball moved a little bit. I think it bounced right in front of Lawman's too, which made it especially tough to hold on to. But he just kind of spilled it, and Marino jumped on it. And, then Spain ends up winning 2-1. So we kind of saw that in the Norway game too, with the second goal that England scored in extra time, where it was a really similar kind of instance. So, definitely tough for the goalkeeper. And you definitely feel for goalkeepers in that moment, because they're obviously doing their best and they're not trying to spill the ball directly to the opposing team. But you could say definitely a little bit of a lucky break for Spain. And it was a pretty even game throughout. I just think Spain struggles to score goals consistently. They're not like France.
Yeah.
And they defend really well. I mean, this was the first goal, this 2-1 victory. I think it was the first goal they've given up all World Cup.
Wow.
So, the fact that they can defend as well as they can is, I think, again, best defense remaining in the tournament from what I've seen. So trying to go up against that high-powered France offense, it's going to be a great game. I think, both semifinals are going to be great. So that's kind of what I saw. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that game as well.
I guess my thoughts is what I've heard is France's attack is deadly. Spain's defense is strong, but they haven't been blowing teams out. So the thing is, I think if it becomes end to end, I don't see Spain's, like you said, scoring enough goals, because I think France, if they wanted to just say to hell with the defense, we're just going to go, we're going to let it be 4-3 as opposed to 1-0. We're going to, because we know we're going to score 4.
Yeah.
Whereas in that mode, I don't think Spain could score 3. I don't see it.
Yeah. Well, from what I've seen, if you took Spain's defense and Argentina's scoring and you combine those two together, you have France right now. That's what I'm seeing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they are the best team they're the best team in the tournament. That's, I think, definitely the most talented and most complete in the org. In the tournament, that's for sure. So but I don't know. It takes one. It just takes one game for it to not work, and you get a lucky break, and all of a sudden you're feeling it. So it can happen, but it's hard to see France, even if luck doesn't maybe go their way, that they can not find a way to overcome it. I don't know.
Right. I don't know. Right. Yeah, no, I'm with you. So
I'm hoping for a extra time penalties. France win on penalties for the advance to the other side. But yeah.
So that would be exciting for sure.
It would.
Speaking of extra soccer, Andy, we had 2 games go into extra time. Let's talk about the first one, England, Norway.
Yeah, England, Norway. Match started off, first goal scored by Norway from I think they call it a Schloss. Some people call it a Schloss on Men in Blazers, a shot cross by the Norwegian
Berg, I think, right?
Berg. Yeah. We'll go with that. We'll go with Berg. Young kid scoring a goal that many people I've heard on the English media saying that maybe Pickford should have done a little bit better with. It was an interesting game because the first 15 minutes before the halftime for the hydration break, Norway just packed it in, parked the bus, and England, I thought, just played a little bit unsure and uneasy and more hesitant because they were afraid of the threat that Haaland had. But then in the second half, Norway tried to start playing with it and put a little bit of pressure on England. That's how Norway got the first goal. And then England found a way back in. There's a bit of controversy because looked like the ball may have hit a wire that was up in a wire holding onto a camera that was up in the air. And in terms of the way that it came down pretty flat and pretty straight. But, from there, Elliot Anderson took it, drove, passed it to Gordon, who had actually a pretty good first half,
Mm-hmm.
Gordon checked it back from his left to his right, found a square pass of an onrushing Bellingham, timed the run perfectly, and man, he just did everything perfect. Like took the three touches, perfect touches, slotted it perfectly, just not on the ground, but just a little bit above the ground, so the goalie couldn't swipe his leg to get it, and it's 1-1 just before halftime.
I think going back to kind of this whole wire thing, I think the thing that's interesting to me is on the video, when you watch it back, it looks like that ball comes pretty straight down, right? But the chip in the ball didn't detect contact.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are my eyes telling me one thing, but this sensor is saying another, right?
Yeah.
But then, what I didn't like as FIFA was in like, we didn't like they first said the ball didn't hit the wire, but then they were like there wasn't enough evidence to show that the ball didn't hit the wire. Which the which one is it?
Yeah,
it's like which one is it, right?
You don't even have to say it right away. You don't even have to say it right away. Like I don't understand why they had to say it right off the bat.
Right.
But I don't know. Like I feel like even then, it's one of those things that like people have to see it, and like that's the thing with calls and things. Is like if the ref didn't see it and VAR didn't see it,
right?
You still got to play on, and Norway still had to play, and they still had a lot.
Right.
They still had a lot to do.
Agreed.
People could have.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's not like an egregious controversy. It's just one of those things where like, did it not? Like it's going to be one of those things that's talked about, I think, for years to come, because nobody's exactly sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's, I will say like, regardless of the controversy or not, I think England did deserve to win this game from it. Just in terms of,
I agree, especially when we start talking about extra time. As the game kind of progressed on, I think England got stronger and Norway kind of faltered. So let's talk a little bit about extra time, Andy.
Yeah, so extra time rolls around, and kind of actually like you alluded to, actually someone alluded to this in the game. They said that, how this game is going to end is from either a brilliance, a world-class brilliance, or from a mistake, because it was looking like that. It was still really cagey. Second half didn't really show too much. Just a lot of caginess. And in comes Morgan Rogers. Tommy T. Tatu brings in Morgan Rogers, who's known to have a shot from outside the box. He loves just doing something a little bit different. And Morgan Rogers hits it, and the Norwegian goalkeeper spills it. And who's there to pounce on it, kind of expecting that, is Jude Bellingham. He slots it away. And from there, it really goes downhill for Norway. They ended up having to take Erling Haaland off. This wasn't like a change that the coach made, like because like Haaland wasn't playing well. He was injured. Like he couldn't keep going. So it's better to have 11 playing men versus 10
and a half. Yeah.
So I think people were immediately giving the Norway manager some stick, like, what are you doing? And it's like, he's got an injury. You kind of have to do that.
Yeah.
But then there was no threat. There was no threat from Norway after that. So
right.
Yeah. And so that's how it ended, 2-1.
Yeah. I think it's been nice to see like a resurgence from Jude Bellingham, right? This was the Jude Bellingham that we saw a couple years ago. And I think it just goes to show with how much Real Madrid is kind of stunting his growth from a personnel standpoint. And we've talked about it before with when you have Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham, who all kind of want to play on that left side, there's just not enough space for all three of them.
Yeah.
So that's really what's affected him. But when he has room to work over there, kind of that center attacking mid left striker kind of hybrid that he likes to play.
Yeah.
He really is great. I mean, he is.
Oh, he's phenomenal. He's been one of the best watches in the tournament, to be honest, because like him against Mexico was the victor in Mexico City. But I think they've had to work to play together with him and Kane. I think Kane they complement each other so well because Kane will drop, and that allows Jude to push forward, and the way they time it is the key. And like you said, Harry will stay more towards the right so he can get his right-footed shots off. Versus Jude, he can come in on the left and cut into his right there. So I think that's the key for them, and I think they've been the best. I think they've been the best duo in the tournament. I would say France have a trifecta, but in terms of the best duo, I would say I'd say England, or at least the one I'm most excited about for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you limit France to just Dembele and Kylian Mbappe, I think they've got a pretty good duo over there too. But not to take anything away from Kane.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, it's just
special,
exciting,
special for sure.
Exciting stuff. And they're going to face their rivals Argentina in the semifinal. Paul, take this game away, because I didn't hear much and didn't get a chance to see much from it.
Oh my gosh, dude! So I don't know if you've been seeing things on social media, but it's been all over my feed. It's like getting ready to watch the Argentina game. You got your snacks, and then on the second half of the tray, you have your blood pressure medication, your headache medication.
Yeah.
You have your pulse oximeter, your blood pressure cuff. Like it is stressful. It's a really good watch, but man, is it stressful. So
yeah.
Argentina go up somewhat early in this game, and then Switzerland bring it back 1-1 at the end of regulation, goes into extra time. Something happens in the second half, and I don't know if you saw this, but Paredes and Embolo kind of have a coming together where they're both going for the ball, and it looks like Paredes takes Embolo down, kind of recklessly, so he gets a yellow card for it. And VAR intervenes and says, hey, I think we have it's not misrepresentation, but a misappropriation, I guess would be the best way to put it, where who the foul was applied to might not be correct. Referee goes and looks at it. Before there's any contact with Paredes, Embolo throws himself to the ground and simulates the contact, which by letter of the law is a cardable offense. The thing is he already had a yellow card earlier in the game for a really harsh tackle on, I think it was Tagliafico.
Yeah.
And as a result, he gets a second yellow, which ends up being a red card.
Getting his red. Okay.
Yep. So the Swiss players and coaches were very unhappy, but by the letter of the law, that is how it is supposed to be called. And I don't know if you saw the video, but it was an egregious flop.
Yeah, I didn't see the video. I just knew there was a lot of controversy, because I remember there was some rule change, and I think this is what's interesting, is there was a rule change this year where, like, if they're reviewing something with, like, how they add up the cards, where, like, you can't take I forget what it was. I don't know if it's like they could upgrade a foul to a yellow or a yellow to a red, something weird like that. And I wonder if that's what played into this controversy. Is people didn't really understand. Like, it was really strangely written law, and I think people didn't really understand it.
I think it was if the referee on the field calls something incorrectly on a player from one team, but it actually ends up being somebody from another team, they can change who the card is applied to.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm wondering if it's like, because of that, there's also another rule where, like, if you review a call, I think it's like it can't upgrade you can upgrade a yellow to a red, but you can't upgrade, I guess, like a foul to like a yellow. Something weird. I don't really, to be honest, I don't really remember. This is way back when they were talking about how this tournament was going to operate. But it just seemed like this was almost more controversy. I thought it was more controversy, at least on the media that I was getting, than the controversy with the floating camera or whatever. So
yeah.
I don't know.
mean, definitely both for sure. So Argentina gets lucky here, I think, personally, because Switzerland was starting to grow into the game, and Embolo being their best player in that kind of attacking half, it basically halted all Swiss attack at that point. They just parked the bus. Argentina can't get a goal, so we go into extra time. And Lautaro Martinez comes on the game, and Scaloni kind of employs this three-headed monster between Messi, Alvarez, and Lautaro Martinez, which has just it baffled Egypt in the previous round, and it baffled Switzerland in this round. So it basically pulls defenders out of that kind of parking the bus kind of scheme and opens up the game more, which is how they end up getting their second goal. So Julian Alvarez has an absolute worldie from outside the box, curler, top bins, like the place erupts.
Yeah, amazing goal from what I heard.
Yeah, absolutely. And then very, very late on, I keep wanting to say Barcelona. It's not Barcelona. Argentina gets a 3-on-2, 3-on-3, and Thiago is trying to pass the ball to Messi. It gets deflected and goes right to Lautaro, who just passes the ball into the net. So it ends up being 3-1 in the end. Here's my biggest takeaway. So obviously we have the Embolo controversy, and you've heard my thoughts. I think it's the correct call. I think anybody who's a neutral fan watching the game objectively, it's the correct call. It's one of the most horrific dives I've seen. Especially for somebody who is built like a brick outhouse. Yeah. Do you remember that audio clip? It was from COVID times. And I think it was about Adama Traore or something like that. Like,
yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
There's like audio, and I don't remember who said it, but he's like, "Ref, how's he gone down? He's built like a brick bleep house." But you can hear it clear as day because there's no fans in the stands.
Yeah.
Very, very funny clip.
Love that.
That's kind of how Embolo is built. Embolo he's strong, man. And it should take a lot for him to go down based on how big and strong he is.
Sure.
So just like how he went down was just so fishy. Yeah. And looking back on it again, just a horrible dive. But Argentina has a problem. The problem's name is Rodrigo de Paul. And I love Rodrigo for Argentina. I couldn't stand him when he was on Atletico Madrid, because he's one of those players you just hate when he's not on your team, but love when he is.
Yep.
I don't know if he's getting tired, if he's losing focus, but he is too slow to defend as the half wears on, and he is giving the ball away. There were literally 4 times in a row Argentina gains possession, and then Rodrigo de Paul turns it over. Whether he's trying to dribble through people, trying to make a pass, like it's a huge problem. He is stunting the attack, and he's not good enough in defense. That's actually why Switzerland ended up scoring their goal, is because he doesn't track back with that winger to kind of cut it off and stop the ball from going in the net. So I don't think you can start him the rest of the tournament. Yeah, I really don't. And yeah, it stinks because, he's one of the boys. He's one of the guys who won the World Cup last year, but he's flat out. He's just not good enough right now.
Yeah.
Scaloni has to make that change.
Because that can be a pretty obvious weakness. Because that's the thing that's been kind of giving, as an England fan, is giving me a little hope in this game, is that Argentina do not look infallible. Like, at least on the start, they looked like, in terms of who they were lining up on their team. Seeing them play, there's a little bit. Now, granted, I mean, England don't have a right back, and half their midfield couldn't make it to the game because they were like bedridden.
Yeah.
So England's banged up. So,
well, the good news for England, though, is that Argentina doesn't have a left winger.
That helps out.
So it works out.
Yeah, but if they put Messi there, that's a chance. And
Messi won't play on the left.
Yeah,
he floats, but he hovers more right and central. He almost never goes to the left side, at least up into the final third.
Okay, yeah.
So you won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so negates it for now, but it's still Argentinians. They still have the quality. Yeah. I don't know. Obviously, like, I know, it's going to be a great match, and this is like one of the historic rivalries in the World Cup. It's England, Argentina, going feels like all the way back. Yeah, I'm scared, and like, I'm going to go black on Wednesday. It's just blackout. I'm going to go blackout. Not that I'm going to go black. That's not what I'm trying to say. Blacking out on Wednesday from like any media, because
I was like, where is he going with this? Is he getting drunk?
Yeah, I was like, I mean, we don't know.
Is he turning off all of his electricity?
I'm going to turn off all of the electronics. Cannot look at. I have to even be careful when I go on to where I go on my work computer, because it has that Microsoft thing that it'll show my news.
Yes, it's the worst.
So I have to find ways to make sure no one tells me, because I think I'm going to go over to my fiance's family's, and they can record the game, and the game's going to happen while I'm at work, and I won't have a chance to really watch it. So
right, same.
Yeah, so I'm going to be no one say crap. No, I'm not going to be texting you, Paul. You're not going to be texting me. My phone's going to be off. It's going to be off starting at noon. So everything's going to be communicated through me through Smoke Signal and Bridget's phone. So that's what that's what it's looking like for that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I think we have honestly the 4 best teams in the tournament so far. So
we do, and that's a privilege there too, where we've gotten the teams that we've wanted to see make it to the Final Four are in their Final Four.
Yep.
I don't even want to do predictions, because I would hate to speak it. I'm so superstitious, Paul. I'm debating whether to cut this, because I think I didn't cut this before the World Cup, and now we're here.
Leave it.
I have my shirt that I wear for England matches, and they've seemed to work. Now I'm already second guessing myself, being if I'm saying all these things, is that going to wear off its magic? I don't know. I'm so nervous about this game, but it's going to be great. It's going to be a memorable game for both of us. That's going to be for sure.
Yeah. I do know if both Spain and Argentina lose, I will become the biggest England fan that you have ever known. But if Spain and Argentina both win and go to the final, I'm going to be so happy.
Either way.
I don't even root for anybody. I just sit back and say, let's have a great game. And I'll enjoy. I'll just enjoy.
It would kill me if Spain won a second World Cup before England won a second World Cup, and doing it in such a short period of time that Spain would have done it in 2010 and 2026.
The same thing goes for France, though.
It does, but France already has two World Cups.
Yeah.
More. I think they have 3? No, they have 2.
3.
98 and in 2018.
Okay.
I think there's only 2.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy when you look at it, of in the world who has won. It's still the same cadre of teams that have won World Cups, which I think is very interesting. There hasn't been a new rando coming through.
I think the last new one was 2010.
When Spain won it. Was Spain, because they hadn't done it before. So it's sticking. Things change, but things also stay the same. So we'll see how that goes. Paul, bracket updates.
Yes, things changing and staying the same, Andy. So I have brackets here.
Nice.
So in 4th place, we have Bridget. She's got 22 points up to this point.
Yay, Bridget.
She does have Spain winning. I think she's the only one that has Spain winning, so that could throw a whole wrench into things if Spain ends up winning this. Andy, you are in 3rd place with 29 points.
Nice.
I am in 2nd place with 35 points, but my big thing is I have Netherlands going to the final. So if France goes to the final, my bracket struggles, especially against both you and Z. And then Z is in 1st place with 36 points. Talk about the modicum of consistently 12 points in the 1st round, 12 points in the 2nd round, and 12 points in the 3rd round.
Efficient right there. Just boom, boom, boom. Steady Eddie.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. But it's really great. She is very excited because she has never won a bracket challenge before.
Oh, really?
So if she were to win this, she would be very, very happy.
Yeah, that'd be exciting. It's a fun experience. I don't know if you'd rather win your bracket or have your team that you're rooting for win it. For me, I'd rather have my team rooting for win it, but it is fun when you do win the bracket. It's great when you do both, to be honest.
The nice thing is that all 3 of us have picked Argentina to win. So if Argentina wins, our brackets do well.
That's true.
Yep. So, that's where we're at where we are at with the brackets, Andy. I think it's time to move on to our favorite part of the pod.
Sure, it sure is. Supersub and Superdud. Paul, who do we have for Superdud, and then we'll go Supersub.
So Superdud, I got to go with Embolo's dive, man. I mean, just egregious. And when you're on a yellow card, you got to play smart.
Mm-hmm.
And in the world that we live in, with how many cameras we have watching the game and how prolific VAR is with how they intervene, and granted, they've been intervening less in this tournament than they have before, but you just got to be smarter. Mm-hmm. And you could tell he was like distraught. And I felt bad for him, but you got to play smarter when you're on a yellow.
Yeah.
Like, you know that simulation is a yellow card offense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was bad, man. It was bad. It was worse than a Kylian Mbappe dive, which is saying something.
And it's weird too, because from what I saw, it wasn't even in the penalty box. It wasn't like you were trying to get a penalty. So why would you dive? Like, diving doesn't make sense unless you're trying to go for a penalty. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, that was just crazy. So that was my super dud. Andy, I love this. This might be my favorite super sub of all time. So I don't know if you saw this, but coming off the plane as Norway comes home from the World Cup, Erling Haaland is carrying a souvenir.
Is it his $100,000 Birkin bag and his Birkin collection that he has?
It is not. It is not. You would think, he might have like cowboy boots or like a cowboy hat because they spend a decent amount of time in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is a stuffed raccoon whiskey bottle holder. Like the most American thing that you could possibly buy from the United States and bring it back.
Like, that feels like something you'd buy at a Spencer's in Dallas. Like, that's the crazy thing is, like, we know this man spends money, like an obscene amount of money on bags that, like, I was talking with Bridget about it. They're quite feminine bags. So you see this big, hurly, Viking-looking dude carrying a Birkin bag. Is very, very funny. And then you see him coming off the plane with this, and he's got a, like, wide, like, out clear as day. It's not like he's like tucking it away. He's like, no, this is my trophy. This is my trophy.
Yes.
He's so happy he's got that. And it really is. Like, it's such the backwoods thing. And like, I would just love to know, like, what emotions were going through him when he saw that to make him want to buy that. You know? Like, what experience is he having with that being like, has he never seen a raccoon before? I doubt it. I think there's raccoons in Norway. Obviously he's had a whiskey before, I imagine, because we see him drinking in Miami. So, like, what was he thinking? This was so funny. Like, like where? That's wild. He's crazy, just crazy.
Yep. Absolutely. So that's probably my favorite super sub of all time. So that's it.
Well,
that's what I got.
We're keeping it in the family because Superdud I'm having as Haaland's dad again. Okay. Not again, but just like I already have it. I'm not a fan of Erling Haaland's dad and some of his and the antics that he's done. One, injuring Roy Keane and then telling like Roy Keane that he's a baby or whatever. He got what was coming to him that next year. Let's just say
that was one of the wildest clips I've seen.
Yeah,
both of those interactions.
It's crazy, and it's still. I mean, Roy Keane still like revs it up in his podcast. He's like, who's dad? And he makes a fair point, being like, why are none of the wives sitting also there? Because one, Haaland's sitting next to Gianni Infantino, which is like, okay, why is your wife also not there sitting with him? I don't get that. Yeah. And two, just his comment after the England game of saying like, nice job, Jude and the refs for giving the game for good performance from the both of you. I didn't necessarily think it was initially. I was a little perturbed of like that. There's a lot of things letting go, but that was the style of the game. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't go after the refs like that. Normally had your chance. You had your chance. Sorloth didn't pass it, and that would have been the game. That would have been the game because no way I see England coming back from 2-0 down in 45 minutes. I don't necessarily know if they could do that. Maybe they could, but I don't know.
you could talk about the foul that was called on Haaland too in the box. Was it maybe a little soft? Sure. But what people seem to forget is the guy who scored the goal was in an offside position anyway.
Yeah, he was. It was close.
So even if that foul isn't called, VAR is going to look at the offside and it's going to get called for offside anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody's making a big deal out of that, but it's like, you guys, did you look at the whole play?
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty evident push because, like, if you see before that, Haaland is shoving Elliott consistently, and Elliott has to yell to the ref, "Hey, like, look at him shoving me," and it's pretty obvious. Haaland didn't sell it; he just shoved him. So it's like, okay, if you're going to be that blatant about it, like, that's, you deserve to have the foul called, and he did affect the play because I think his head got on the ball. So I was like, yeah, like, I thought that was pretty obvious. So I don't, even if Elliott went down easy, Elliott has a right to, I think, see someone being that over the top. So just thought it was,
and that's something that's always going to be called. If an offensive player is too aggressive in the box and pushes or causes a defender to go down, it's always going to be called.
Yeah, part of the game is knowing how the game is going to be called. Like, that is it. Now, that gets to an extent, which is like when we talk about the controversies, but this is definitely within the realm of that. Anyone who's played, I think, sports kind of knows that. Supersub, I'm just going with Dan Burn again. I love this dude. He won a header, and what I love about him is, like, he is just that, like, he is that English bastard. He really is. Like, he's that hooligan, because, in a good way, because he is what he did after the header, after he won his header, got the header, and he kind of like left some on the other guy. The other guy goes down, and like Dan Burn like pumps up the crowd, gets them going. Ends up being like one of the last like plays of the match. But as like Dan Burn's coming back, he just steps over the guy that he just put on the ground. And I'm like, he didn't like do anything malicious. Like, he didn't like step on him, but just like that little extra bit, just to be like, I'm here, sir. Like, respect me. I love that. Maybe it's like non-sportsmanlike, but I think if you can do it, it ain't bragging. And he just got the better of him. So I love seeing that. So he is my legit super sub that came in for that. So good on him for that.
Yep.
So all good things there. Well, Paul, we're going to have a stressful week because by the time we pod next, we're going to have a World Cup winner. Should we do predictions, or should we just let it happen? Let's just let it ride, man. That'll help my superstitiousness. But guys, we'll be back for the next podcast with a World Cup champion to talk about. But in the meantime, stay sane. I have been Andy. Paul has been Paul, and with that, I'm wishing you all a big old bye.
Bye.